When I look back on 2012, one thing stands out as it does almost every year, and that's the amazing number of stories that featured government agencies. They were all at it again, from the feds to the state to the city and county of San Diego. So here's another look at the most ridiculous government foul-ups. Wait, let's be kind and call them the government follies. Let's start at the top. Take the feds, please. FEMA decided several homes on high ridges were suddenly in flood zones. They issued new maps and told homeowners if the map shows you're in a flood zone, you're in one, and your insurance goes through the roof. Experts were amazed.
If this is a real floodplain problem, I'm going home, I'm selling my house, and I'm gonna build an ark.
I got city and county officials involved, and most of those cases got straightened out. The county of San Diego got silly this year too. First, they decided to charge little kids for cooling off at a public park, a park paid for with county tax dollars. Then they turned their attention to the tiny town of Alpine. After their main drag was torn up by SDG&E's power link for a year and a half, the county said they needed new drainage, so they decided to dig up Alpine Boulevard all over again.
A lot changed after my last report, let's face it.
You know, you're an influential man around here, Michael. I can tell you that. Of course, everybody watches you on television. And we did hear from the public on this.
No kidding. We got that project postponed indefinitely and the road repaved at last. Businesses and residents were thrilled.
It would have been a fatal blow to most of the stores and businesses along the boulevard.
Back in town, we caught Caltrans with their pants down again, exposing a construction lot left over from building the 54 freeway 20 years ago. It's in the middle of a nice neighborhood, but Caltrans fenced it off and leased it out to construction companies. And now there's junk, trash, and construction debris on both sides of the fence. I got City Council member Tony Young and State Rep Marty Block involved, and Caltrans cleaned up their act. But they left the fence with this graffiti canvas attached. And how about that city of San Diego? They refused to pay up when this guy tried to redeem 50-year-old city bonds, bonds supposedly backed up by the full faith and credit of the city. And I showed you how the city ignored this nasty wall of shame property for years. We got that cleaned up, but not before it got featured on national TV. The wiring is cause for alarm. So's the plumbing. And I've already shown you the floor.
All right, we get it. Why are you making the place worse? You did more damage than the tornado in Texas.
We got much quicker results on this city fiasco. A traffic median that suddenly sprung up out of nowhere. Neighbors cried foul. The mayor stepped in and put the job on hold and announced a new city policy.
The Turko rule is that nothing should happen in a neighborhood without everybody understanding what's going on. Be notified in advance, to have some input, and their expertise is brought in.
I'll let you know how that new Turko rule works out, and I'm sure I'll be tackling lots of new and exciting government follies in 2013. Now here's a story that really does have a happy ending. For decades, California high school seniors have enjoyed a special night out at Disneyland to cap off their last year of school. This year, that almost didn't happen for a lot of Steel Canyon kids when their own school dropped the ball and started making lame excuses. I showed you how Mario Harris and dozens of other seniors at Steel Canyon High were left out of the grad night trip to Disneyland. That all-night party is the top-rated graduation ritual all over Southern California. But the school and their PTO claimed they couldn't lease enough buses to take all the seniors. When elders of the Viejas Band of Kumeyaay Indians saw that report, they agreed to donate one of their buses for the trip free of charge.
Like Native Americans in Viejas know what it's like to be left out. And when we heard about these kids not going to be able to go on this trip, we couldn't just stand by and let it happen.
Your own school shut you out of the trip.
I know.
You had to be shocked when they said no room for you.
Yeah, I was like, what?
And they're off to Disneyland up in Anaheim for grad night, where they'll meet the rest of their classmates for a trip they'll never forget. Yeah! Thank you, Turko and Diaz! In my next report, I'll take one last look at 2012 before it gets away from us for good. And I'll show you the best and the worst of the year behind us. I'm Michael Turko, only on KUSI News.